Normally, farmers will plant seeds and waiting for the saplings to grow. But today, in modern farms, this natural and simple process, it's becoming more and more complicated. It's summer, and the farmers are checking the seasonal situation. This year, the fields are evidence for the seasonality of agriculture. This year's season has been a great success. Every effort is worth it, and we're having a great time. Fat Lawler is a farmer in Bali Kili Caloric District. I'm happy. This is the best dream I've ever seen. Beautiful weather, and what we harvest, it's also great. We want nothing more. If the weather continues to be favorable, the harvest of part Lawler will become part of a total of 2,000. It's being harvested all over Ireland. Our farm width 40 hertz located behind Bali Kili Hotel. It's part of the old land. The farm, as his farm passes, it's been broken up in the past. The farmer, it takes a day to harvest 4,000 square meters today. Pass can do this in less than an hour. My childhood was associated with the crops, so I know agriculture very well. I'm also very mechanical. If you love machines, your job is a job that's right for you. The 50s were a magical time. Even when you hear the sound, a tractor is running. I'll cross the ditch to find out where it is. Mechanical process. Chemistry has completely changed agriculture. Agriculture has changed from the inside out. I think my generation is the last. We have to work very hard to farm. You have to be very healthy. It can exist in the manufacturing industry. 5 cups of wages. The farmer received it after a year of work. Not much. We hope that our output this year will be 3 T per 4,000 square meters. If I sell it all today, I'll get about 105 euros. The amount received is not much. Yes, but you have to love your job. After 5 cups appeared on the shelf in the store, Mr. Pass could breathe a sigh of relief and prepare to get paid. Lucky to be a modern farmer. Now, there's income from the crops. I hope we'll have 2 paychecks, not just one. One day you get paid 5 cups, and a day you get paid for the farm. Sometimes you get a lot of money. Sometimes you get a little. Is also waiting for the results. His wheat. The Pass will be sold at a determined price because of the price war happening in the market. This is a popular item because of their ability to thrive. And equally, however, that's not how to profit from growing and selling tomatoes by Eddie and Caroline Robinson. When a customer buys a bag of my tomatoes, it's rare. It's all red tomatoes. They'll be orange, purple, pink, various colors. We chose tomato varieties based on their taste. Summer is the peak time to harvest the crops. Benden. In mid-June, we started planting a lot of trees. When the first shoots appear, it will all happen very quickly. We'll spend 3 days a week just harvesting. We don't use chemical fertilizer, herbicides, or fungicides. We do it according to the principle of interlaced composting by organic seeds. So in addition to paperwork, our farm is completely organic work. Organic logos can help you build your brand. They'll check to see if you're following the rules. And then we'll accept organic brands, and you can sell it in stores or anywhere. We've established a brand for ourselves. There's no official recognition or subsidies. Family Robinson operates in a self-sufficient form. They sell all their products themselves. She's the face of the business. I think that's important because it builds trust in customers. We do it this way because it's a vegetable. We grow our own. Food lovers will find it if you have other products. So if you grow a particularly delicious beet, they can't buy it anywhere else. They will always come back to you. That's the only way we can compete with supermarkets. Because they don't value taste, that's more about shelf life and endurance. They're also interested in equality. We care about the rest. In the summer, Caroline and Eddie care for the wide farm. They're 120,000 square meters with the help of volunteers from the organization. Opportunity on organic farms around the world. Volunteers come to Robinson Farm in the summer to work. In return, they have the opportunity to experience agricultural. They are also provided with accommodation. And the most important thing is to eat Caroline's cooking. I really think they should try the best. Because that's part of the experience. That's part of this experience. And they're here to learn English. It's a rule to sit at the table. You're not allowed to speak any other language except for English, so they're all forced to comply. I have a passion for food, and I've always thought that the fresher the better for your health. It's easier to digest. Vegetable growing system on Robinson Farm. We need to focus a lot of labor. The same goes for growing fruit trees. Contrast operates an apple farm near Kahee, Tipperary County. Farm. It was founded when my parents moved from the Netherlands. They want to have their own farm. But in the Netherlands, it's very difficult to own land. So when you go to Ireland on your honeymoon, they've been to this place before. They think this is a great place to be born, living and growing. However, for a long time, fruit tree planting, it's not primarily on the farm. It's because of the lack of money when doing other jobs. That made us focus on growing fruit. The fact that planting fruit trees brings more profit. On the farm here, we have about 30,000 apple trees in total. On average, we expect each apple tree to give 100 apples of about 3 million. That's enough for every Irish. In addition to growing apples, Contrast is busy harvesting strawberries. Today, when people buy a box of strawberries, its price is more or less the cost of harvesting. If you know how to harvest and strawberries for a lot of fruit, you can gain 6 to 7 kilograms in 1 hour, or almost the same number. Machines can't pick strawberries because it can't pick the ripe fruit among the green fruits. We can't let the machines picking all strawberries at the same time. We need humans to pick ripe fruits and let the green ones pick later. The machine is not suitable in this situation. If machines could replace humans, maybe we just need a strawberry farm. Between Europe is enough supply for all of Europe. Farmers who grow crops and grow crops. But they're different in one important respect. For vegetable and fruit growers, the tree is the most important. But for a farmer to cultivate the land, as Donald Bartley, it's the machines that interest you. This is the composite levers that we're using. It's a 204 series. It has a 5-meter Mercedes engine head. What you're seeing here is the locomotive. The knife glided on the ground, a preset distance. It's usually 10 millimeters of gasoline. And the 5-cup tree goes to the machine. Will be smashed seeds, 5 cups raw. This machine separates the seeds from the 5-cup plant. Then inside, they're passed through a straw filter to remove all the straw. There's 5 grains left in this barrel. It's all going to be loaded onto the truck. You have to care all year for optimal at the best price. That's really the ultimate goal. Donald grows 5 cups and potatoes with his brother, Leonard, in Louth County. We grew wheat potatoes and some barley. At 23 years old, we never have pocket money or whatever similar. We were given a little calf. We have to feed it, take care of it, and make some money from this work. You just have to raise cattle and take them to the slaughterhouse. If you make a profit, you'll continue to do so. It's the same with potatoes. I was given 2,000 square meters of land to plant and make my own money. The Battley brothers' business skills, learned from a young age, is invaluable because machines are when running an expensive modern farm. This machine is about 15 years old. It costs about 40,000 euros. A machine. Completely new combination breaker. It costs about 500,000 euros. I think it's about 400,000. That's a huge amount of money. It's almost in a corner for about 10 months a year. And your machines. Battly is their pride. Every machine has its job. When in the season, it's all working. Tractor with plow blade inside, tractor with tiller unit, tractor with seeding function. It's all very effective when used. Their love for machines was so great, they even sponsored a motorcycle racing team. At the time of harvest, it's the second most important machine after the combined straw binding machine. Top part of the plant 5 cups, and the body provides the straw. This year, we can comb the straw on the ground, bundled for sale. We'll sell it to local farmers, sometimes even people in the north. Straw can sell for 60 pounds to 70 pounds per 4,000 square meters straw. It's not too much, but if you add 8,000 square meters, 2 miles of land is a lot of money. The number may not be large, but this is a successful harvest. The sun was shining brightly, and money worries are put aside. For farmers and their families, everything is amazing. Life couldn't be better. It's autumn, and the season is over. The work of tilling the land has not yet begun. For a few short weeks, the fields were empty. But it's not quiet, because Donald and Leonard took this opportunity. Off-road racing. The harvest is over, but the machines don't rest very long. Half the farm used to grow potatoes, and come September, the potatoes are ready to harvest. Each season usually lasts about 120 days. After you've burned the shovels and planted the crops, it usually takes about 34 weeks before it can be harvested. Many years ago, we often have to hand-pick each potato and harvest about 20 t per day. Now with the machine, I can harvest 20 t 1 hour. There will be a tractor operator, and 23 people in the back picked out the stones, clay, or leftover stems. Supermarkets sell potatoes in bags, transparent, so that the uniformity of shape is very important. Potatoes are classified in the field, then sorting again in the warehouse. Many potatoes have been removed because they're not the right shape or size. After many years, the Battly family has developed 4 varieties of potatoes: potato, queen potato to pink, 6th century potatoes, and rooster potatoes. Rooster potato breed was bred in 1907 ripe, and grow it for the next 12 to 14 years, until they were widely planted in 1900 ripe. Fashion like that, it takes about the first 12 years to pick a potato variety from 100,000 initial seeds over 12 years. We've just been lucky enough to have potato finishing. The creation of a potato variety is complicated, but for Denise Griffin, it's a challenge. Potato farmers trying to improve their and create new breeds in accordance with the needs of the market. New varieties of potatoes must be resistant for higher quality output. Taste may be important, but for the Irish, reliability and disease resistance is more important. 2 main breeds that grow very well before apples famine. And 5 cups. Many harmful pathogens for potatoes, not in Ireland, so potatoes are a low-value crop. Potatoes are not affected by fungi or viruses. The potato in Ireland dominated until the 1840s, when the potato epidemic started and harmed the crops. The whole region began to stop growing after the famine. Farmers can choose their crops based on a range of characteristics. For example, disease and withstand the weather conditions. For a fruit farmer, as contrast, the most important characteristic is the taste. I think if you compare apple growing with growing other things on the farm, workload of apple growers, it's actually much bigger. I have a very small farm here, only about 240,000 square meters. Apple growing job requires a lot of effort at the management stage, as well as labor input and cost. There are nearly 10,000 different varieties of apples. Only a few of them show up in the supermarket, and less than 100 varieties will be planted. I think we're not growing variety of apples. Everyone has a different taste. Not everyone can eat the same apple they like. The way the market works is only two or the largest apple will bring profit. And these are the kinds of displays on supermarket shelves. We can tell whether apples are ripe by looking at the color. I'll pick an apple. You can see that it's a little bit more yellow compared to the Kier apple. This fruit is ripe. The color of this fruit is even bluer. So this is the most ripe of the three. I have to check in regularly because at this time of year, they ripen pretty quickly. After only 2 or 3 days, apples can be very different, and 2 or 3 days is a problem. Taste is the most reliable indicator. You should pick them after you've tasted them and found that they already tasted as expected. And then you can tell people to pick these apples and leave the Kier. They've been picking apples for years. Which ones are ready to be picked? Anyone who's ever drunk fermented apple juice, everyone knows Tipperary has a history of growing apples, but apples are not native to Ireland. Types of apples today. The kind of apples we usually eat from Ireland. It's from Kazakhstan. People think that the seeds, it was brought to Europe over 1,000 years ago. There are very few fruit varieties. Vegetables, or 5 cups, originating in Ireland. Plants native to Ireland are beet varieties. People used to grow it on the coast. And sea kale. Other crops such as wheat, oats, and barley both come from the Middle East. It was the farmers of the time. The Neolithic brought 5 cups and came here about 5,000 years ago. Madeleine McGiver. I'm a cattle farmer and store the seeds in toad seedlings. What we're trying to do at the seed company, Brown Envelope, is to find plants that can grow in Ireland, combine and improve them to suit our environment. A gardener would look at Madeleine's field in the fall and said it was time to sow the seeds. That's what Madeleine wants to do. Yes, we're finishing the seed harvest. There's a lot of particles inside. We see some particles on the outside. There's still a little green to harvest. We're taking the seeds out of the squash, knife, and cucumber. I think we should put them on the canvas. This is a beet seed. The seeds inside these crispy shells, and the goal is to get the seeds out of the shell. There are about 350,000 species of plants, but all over the world, we only eat about 2,000 of them. There are only a few species will appear on the Irish table. We've got about 200 edible plants. We've tested a lot with unusual agricultural crops. It's no longer consumed. For example, the grass bin right behind me. I think that one of these ancient plants, it can be organic, helpful in the future. Withdrawal is rubbing dry basil leaves, and then we'll have a mixture of smaller leaves, and she'll rub it again. This is mainly to make the seeds big and dusty. We'll go through the next class. According to tradition, a farmer will save the seed and continue to plant next year. But in today's high-tech world, the seeds can be planted in the laboratory. Most farmers buy seeds from the companies, multinational commercial seeds. What a coincidence. When this is the United Nations biodiversity year, and what we're seeing now is it's a decline in biodiversity, agriculture in Ireland and around the world. Plant breeding in the last few hundred years always insist on doing SAO to make everything uniform. Because of the close breeding, we're very productive, but the diversity is low, and that can cause hunger. It's very dangerous. The most productive biological system is the forest. They've got the richest biodiversity. Trees are really effective at collecting sunlight. What we're doing in agriculture is using plants. It's like a big solar plug to capture 10 calories in the form of carbohydrates or in the food you eat. If you only have one plant in the field, you only use a certain amount of sunlight. As more crops grow, you're using more and more sun. In a forest or any natural system, you have different trees, different layers of canopy, and you can use sunlight all year round. At the Good Farmers Contest, the farmers and their families have gathered to communicate and refer to the latest equipment. They also think back to agriculture. All kinds of agricultural machines are on display, but the most important invention for farmers, it's the tractor. First, the cages will roll up the soil. The blade is tilled to make the soil porous and roll into the rest of the soil. Tilling causes air to circulate in the soil, bringing nutrients to the surface, at the same time burying weeds and what's left of last season's crop. The plow helps the farmer to prepare the soil, seeding the fertility of the soil. Beside the farming, it can continue to happen. Soil containing phosphorus and potassium nitrates, important components. It helps in the growth of plants. We're growing potatoes in the 6th season, so we have to plant lotus soup. We don't have livestock like cattle or sheep. So you have to grow wheat or barley. These are the main crops. Farmers use many different methods to keep the land always in the best condition, from circular cultivation to fertilizer. What we're most interested in is to improve the soil, improve the rotation process, to give the soil its color. If the soil is fertile, plants growing above the field will be healthy and free of pests. That's what we're always trying to achieve. Robinson's house has a low-cost investment system compared to other farmers who do farming together. The first expense when you start seeding is fertilizer. That's the first amount we have to invest in agriculture. Then there's the other chemicals. That's the main input, fertilizer alone. And the spray cost about 150 to 160,000 euros. That's a big investment, and that's why SAO Leonard must grow high-yielding varieties. This is a seed that's been sown. It's called saffron. That's barley for next year. I use this machine to plant barley. About 10 to 11 bags of seeds per 4,000 square meters. The seed is in the ground, 58 millimeters from the gas. It'll be there, and when it shoots, we'll spray it. Hopefully, we'll get by to 3.5 per 4,000 meters in July. I'm in debt to merchants and banks. I'm pretty worried right now. I'm worried about making enough money to be able to pay the debt to everyone, and what's left is my profits. I hope we have a year, good performance, and everything will go well. As the autumn sun begins to set, smooth texture like velvet of the field will soon be covered in winter frost. It's December, and it's hot. Should have disappeared a long time ago. But in Bandon, the weather was good enough for Eddie Robinson. Continue the harvest. I'm harvesting Swedish radish. I cut the roots and bring them to the market on Saturday. They are planted in early April. As you can see, everyone sort by small type, large, and medium. I'm definitely a customer, always want to buy different types. Maybe others will be surprised with the amount of grain that we sowed in the field, but it's been a very wet year. We have a problem in trying to keep things clean. But the seed is underneath. That's what's important. At the Robinsons' booth, full of their winter produce. The weather is usually very cold in June, and there's been a change. It's warmer now. I've got tomatoes and some cucumbers this morning. They are about to ripen, but basically, we're selling winter goods like carrots, Swedish beet leeks, and potatoes. We're always trying to create the most diversity. That's the most important thing. So we also have small amounts of some vegetables, like cabbage and curly lettuce, to create diversity. We just harvested the vegetables the day before, even that morning, so that everything is fresh and delicious. The Robinson family is committed to producing food locally and seasonal, but for consumers. The season is no longer important. The means of transport, refrigeration, and other storage techniques help supermarkets can provide fresh food from all over the world, no matter what time of year. Food has become a global commodity with uniformity, and durability becomes more important than taste and aroma. For a vegetable grower like Madeline, winter in Turkey is a quiet time. But on the livestock side, Madeline and her husband, there's a lot of work to be done to take care of the cattle and poultry. They're deciding which plants will appear in the catalogue of the farm. Brown envelope seeds this year. One more thing we need to consider is whether to produce seed packaging. If we put it in the packaging instead of the box, it will be easier to ship to everyone. Cataloging can be quite a hassle, because it needs to be completed to send it to everyone in time. Buy the seeds, so there's a deadline. We've got to try to get the best fit. We're a little nervous, just a little bit. Everything is ready. Not yet. Before going in, the root directory must check the germination of the seeds. Before selling, we need to check that the seeds, is it of the best quality or not? We need to check the germination rate. A pretty American phrase for a very simple action. We use moist paper and small plates like this. Then a small heat transfer machine used to keep the temperature stable in a few days. We have to record how many seeds are germinating and look at the differences in germination rates. What's great is a VA leaf. It can hold most of it. Our grain numbers for the whole year, but you can't contain the amount of Swedish radish in a truck. That's what I like. It's pretty complicated because we're producing a product, and we have to market in different ways. At the apple farm, winter has come. A mature apple tree can give 200 kilograms of apples. However, it is difficult to harvest fruit on large trees. Winter is the time to cut. With 30,000 apple trees, pruning is a lot of work. Winter in the orchards is quite bleak. A very short day, and when you start working, it's not even bright. I have 30,000 trees and can only work with one plant at a time. Each tree usually takes a few minutes. Then you can move to the next tree. Then I have 29,999 trees left, and so on. But after a while, things started to change. You're removing any plant that's in the wrong place. There's a pathogen or something like that. You hope the tree will have good structure and health for next year. Baumen Sub, responsible for pruning from November to April of next year. You'll be pleased to have a row of trees with a different appearance than when you grow them. Some seem healthier than some are weaker. And when you're done, it's all the same. You succeeded in helping them, ready to sprout and development. When winter comes, the rains prevent all work on land. For the farmer to farm, this is an opportunity for machine maintenance while waiting for the rain to stop. Maybe you should stop for a moment to think. I'm trying to explain to my son why I'm here. I asked why there was no profit that Dad did. I said you need to love work. I myself really love this job. I hope that my son will like it too. I think about work first and money later. In Grand Baylieu, the Battle brothers are harvesting the last potatoes of the year. Today is 14/10/2. We've just harvested the last potato. They've been wet since the last week of October. Most of the land will be covered. The longer you leave it, the greater the damage to the crop, especially if there is frost at night. If there is spring, you're going to lose some crops, certainly in the whole season, especially in the area closest to the ground. It's also difficult for machines trying to get them off the ground. It's going to take longer, and we've got to get rid of the parts. I'm happy to move out of the field. There's a lot of farmers who have trouble with bone and suffer losses because of production costs, cost of machinery, and land rent. Everything is a huge amount of work. In Bandon, both seasons and weather have their time. And this is a drawback when you rely on local fresh food sources. It's December 21st, the winter solstice, and we're standing in front of a Brooksun garden. It should have been nearly harvested. However, they didn't grow fast enough in the summer, and this is what we have. You can see that this is a 7-setter. I've tried a lot of different varieties, but for the past 3 years, it's been so cold in the summer. We need high temperatures so that the seeds can germinate. Another crop, also 7 autumn this year. It's red cabbage. But this plant is not particularly because important. They can be replanted in March. We have to accept this. The trees are 7, and there are plants that will succeed. Every year, the situation will be different. We're used to this. Winter, it was a quiet time for the Robinsons. Because the volunteers have returned to their homes in warmer climates, Caroline and Eddie also took a break. Enjoy the vacation they deserve. The winter months has helped us regenerate the workforce. We really enjoyed the time. This precious, I have my own time to rest, read books, and do other things. It's snowing outside today, about 10 cubic meters when I woke up this morning. We saw the torrential rain. The rain knocked the tunnel door open, so we had to fix it a little bit. But I'll leave it that way for now. We'll let it melt away. Because the temperature forecast for tonight is below zero, so there's a good chance it'll freeze again. Maybe next week you'll be lucky to harvest something. Snow melt. This means that manual labor will start soon. Spring is coming. When the sun warms the ground, the machines of Battlely was brought out again to serve the potato growing. Spring is the season of growth, and across Ireland, the first signs of life are emerging. For David Johnson in Wicklow County, this is a time of hope. Spring is the time of truth. You're full of energy and effort to improve things compared to last year. Fix all the mistakes, especially for those who grow fruit trees. Labor is the sweet fruit, whether their work has been done well or not. We've got a case here. We're curious to know the results, Because AI also knows that last winter was very cold. It can cause damage to the flowers. They look really normal. It's even pretty perfect. In order for the tree to bear fruit, these flowers need to be pollinated. On the fruit farm today, A is an apple, C is a cherry, B is a bee, and D is a Dutch bee. We're having a cherry case. As you can see, we've brought bees to pollinate the flowers. The Dutch bees, always willing to work at lower temperatures than native bees as soon as the flowers begin to bloom. There's no flowers right now. We have to feed them. I do this once a day. Before, we're not really interested in this. We've had a case. There are clusters of flowers that are not pollinated, and that's because there aren't enough bees to pollinate. So hopefully, we'll solve the problem in this year. Import of bee species. Bred in a factory in the Netherlands. It's just one of the signs that the planting of fruit has developed a lot. It's based on natural selection, gene technology, and copper breeding. Today's farmers must have knowledge of science. It's very convenient to have uniformity because it would be unrealistic. Every tree in the garden is different, so I suppose they have a scientific view of how to grow trees here. This is a new discovery. That of philosophy. If the weather is good, you'll go out and pick beautiful apples, or driving a tractor through the garden to cut grass. You don't care about anything else in the world. Just worry about the task at hand. It could be the best job in the world, but you need an income. Most of the money we make is from growing trees. It will be reinvested in something, like a new building, new store, or similar. The result is the amount of money that the farms collect. It will be invested to increase value. Farming is an important factor for the formation of society in cities because they bring 5 cups, can be harvested, storage, and transportation. The creation of new chemical, synthetic, inorganic has helped the agriculture industry thrive, feeding the world today. I don't like using organic. I don't like being labeled as a kind of farm. Because I think every farm has its own way of doing things. I think what people understand about organic is that we use organic seeds and don't use any chemicals. This is a flowering lettuce. This tree is in bloom, and we have these big round clusters of flowers. One thing I've noticed is the volume is not what produces results. What's important is the timing. If you spend too much time on a case and forget that we need to harvest another crop, then all the seeds will be broken because I forgot about them. If I were the queen, I'd ban supermarkets. I'll close it all. We've got to make some tough choices. We have a wonderful country. It can produce everything it needs. We can provide our own food from farming. We can't depend on the poor. In tropical countries, will provide her parking pass by air. Last summer, there's a supermarket that sells raspberries from Skibbereen in the United States. Why do we have to import raspberries from USA while we can grow raspberries here? The answer is the economy. The farmer's input systems. Usually, it's not just about fertilizer. When the tree grows, weeds and disease threats are also on the rise. I have witnessed the development of organic farming from an early age. I've been in the field every day, continuous weeding with the bag tied at the knee. I never want to pull grass again. Herbicide chemicals that will control disease. When they are used correctly and have been tested, they won't affect the environment. It's the only way you can grow a crop. If we don't, there's nothing left in the field. For maximum productivity, the farmer planted 5 cups, use a large amount of chemical inputs and expensive equipment. The result of all these investments, it doesn't mean the farmer will become rich. In Bendon, weeding is simpler and cheaper. The farmer cleaning up what's left of the field, onions and weeds. We've got a small compartment that's pulled forward by a tractor. You can walk 100 meters an hour. And this is the most efficient use of manual labor. It doesn't hurt your back, and you see, they're very comfortable. What is important when spraying? Even for traditional agriculture, you have to know who your enemy is and identify that goal is killing weeds and the exact time. The job is really simple. You just plant trees and sell them. It's just that simple. We believe in local development. I find it absurd that farmers complain there is no money, while their wives spend money at the local supermarket. 90% of supermarkets. We will continue to import more goods from abroad. Meanwhile, it's about paying local sellers and keep the money flowing in the area. Keep small businesses running. It's much more meaningful. That's really logic. I think we're sort of satisfied with the current situation. We're improving ourselves, and we're improving a lot more. I love this challenge because people often say to people who buy farms that, oh, you won't be able to make a living. This work is not too small. But I say that I can. I have my own way of doing it. Even if there is no subsidy. Robinson House low input system. Give them an idyllic lifestyle and provide fresh vegetables for about 250 regular customers weekly. Now they're just tiny trees. After about 23 weeks, they'll grow into a big tree. Every year, every other year, they look lush. But the end result may not be that. At this time, it's likely that they will produce a good crop. I think in agriculture, AI also wants to be bigger and more developed. But maybe it's not just bigger or better. You can lose a lot of money. So we decided to stay where we are now, with old customers. The machines of Butterly is expected to produce 1 for OOT of potatoes per year. Change in the agricultural sector is huge. 1 year, you lost a lot of money. And there are years where you make a lot of money. There are 5 revenues just enough to pay labor. However, most of the time you will only get enough money. I definitely want to move the profession back to the next generation. We want the battle tradition to continue. We've been here for 300 years. Would be great. If the family's name survives for the next 300 years, time will bring the answer. The farmers like their work. They just want to grow bountiful crops. They bring satisfaction to them. I guess I can't tell you exactly what that is. It's like a lifestyle. They can't wait to get out in the morning and working, always ready for the next day. The harvest time of the past year, but the agriculture debate on the island will continue. Even though as SAO, they continue and the farmers are very passionate. None of them. I thought I would do any other job outside of farming.